This is a whatever it takes tonight. Everybody has to bring more tonight.
You know, we've got to come out and honestly play the best game we've played all year.
Pacers Heat, Game 5 from South Beach, where only the strongest would survive. Who's on the brink of elimination?
Hands throw, and Anderson get involved. The shove by Anderson.
Here we go again. With everything on the line, things got more than chippy in this one. More fireworks between this pair. Full coverage ahead as the Heat on the doorstep of the finals. It's NBA Tonight. Let's go.
We're playing against a worthy opponent that if we don't play well, they beat us. Let's lace them up and let's get ready for Game 5.
The Heat haven't lost back-to-back games in 140 days. And after watching LBJ in the third quarter tonight, easy to see why that is the case. Welcome to NBA Tonight with PJ Carlissimo. I'm Zubin Mehenti. You ready to go?
Absolutely.
All-important Game 5. When a series is tied at 2 apiece, the winner of Game 5 wins 83% of the time in this series. So we set the stage. 2 on 5 in the first quarter, it seemed like it, but the 2 that showed up for Indiana were magnificent.
Paul George, whether he was shooting or in that play right there, assisting to Roy Hibbert, 23 points for that duo. Looked like they were going to take Indiana right where they wanted to be, to the promised land.
There's no doubt about it. The Pacers have won in this building before, and as you said, a clean sweep for that pair. Nobody else scored. Nobody else needed to. The Pacers were playing very well, and then the chippiness ensues between these two.
Hard shot right there by the Birdman. I was very surprised the referees didn't throw him out. Seemed to be no reason for it. Nothing happened cheap before that, but there was no calming the Bird down. He got the crowd into it.
This is nothing new for the Heat, of course, involved in the previous round conference semis. Nazem Muhammad and LeBron James. Not nearly as physical here, but still the emotions running high.
A little bit less of a shove from the Birdman, but still, I think, deserving of ejection. But he kept, not only did he stay in the game, he got the crowd involved, then he had this great block where he came from behind, of all people, on Tyler Hansbrough.
Everybody talking about the Birds' offense, but his defense has been there. Frank Vogel, vocal at the half.
And we can outplay this team, okay? But they got a banner up there, okay? And they got a banner up there not because of their talent, because they got great will, too. They have great determination, too. Our will and our determination has got to be better than theirs in the second half to get out of here with a win.
Easier said than done, because as emotional as Vogel was, LeBron firing his teammates up. Man, look at the emotion.
Slightly different language, I think, from LeBron, but he got the point across. He told the players it's right now. He didn't like the way that first half went.
Third quarter, he was leading by example, scoring and scoring often. More on that in a second. Then finding teammates. Look at the dish to Haslam. And then, Coach, this is interesting. Things get chippy again. Bosch is blocked by Hibbert. We're going back the other way. George Hill called for a foul, but then West and Haslam get into it.
Well, Udonis Haslam was defending his point guard. He didn't like David West went after Mario Chalmers. They're not in the same weight classification right there. Udonis wanted to make sure he's going to stick up for his point guard. But again, this is just players getting after it. A little bit of woofing going on right here, but that's two guys that aren't going to back down.
Double technicals called, and then things settled down, and LeBron heated up. Absolutely magnificent in the third. He outscored Indiana by himself in the quarter.
16-13. LeBron throw in a 5 for 5 from Udonis Haslam. That's 26 for that duo. LeBron into the paint. He finds Udonis Haslam. He loves that baseline. Udonis isn't talking now. He's just smiling.
No doubt about it. Heat outscored the Pacers 30-13 in the third. LeBron scored or assisted on 25 of those 30. As you see here, it was a one-man show, but it was more than enough. Indiana got nothing out of their backcourt, and the King gave everything to the Heat.
72% shooting from the field for Miami, 21 for the Pacers.
Double-digit game in the fourth quarter. Dwayne Wade had a quiet game, another quiet one. We'll talk about that in a second, but getting it to go there, and then under 2 minutes to go, Heat up a dozen. It's fitting that the highlight ends with LeBron. 38-6. Heat win 90-79. The King led them in points, rebounds, assists, threes, and plus-minus. The Heat have a 3-2 series edge, thanks to something that doesn't show up in the stat sheet for LeBron. Emotion.
I just didn't think we were playing Miami Heat basketball in the first half. What kept us in the game in the first half was our talent, and that's not what we're about. We didn't play with a sense of urgency, and we was only down 4, and that wasn't a good sign, man. So, you know, I just got in them and let them know that we can't just play by talent. We got to go out and we got to play with a sense of urgency, both offensively and defensively, and my guys responded.
We really look back at Game 4 as a blown opportunity because we didn't play the defense that we needed to. We didn't have the urgency we needed to. But today, you know, we did a great job. I think it was even on the boards. You know, if we're even, we feel we have a better chance.
You always feel like you got a good chance when LBJ is on your side. He fouled out of Game 4, but he comes back with a vengeance, emotionally charged in Game 5.
Without question, he set the tone, and you could see when coaches talk sometimes in timeouts, players are looking up, looking sideways. Right. Everybody was looking dead into LeBron's eyes. They were scared to do anything else, and they responded when he went out. Chris Bosh made a great point. They hung in on the boards. That's all they needed to do. They didn't get themselves embarrassed.
Now, if you're Indiana, let's take a look at this. There was just simply no stopping LeBron. That third quarter more or less sealed the game. They tried to double team him. They tried everything. Just nothing worked.
Well, he's got the ball in the middle of the floor. When he has it in the middle of the floor, there's too many options. The players were waiting for him, but it didn't matter. It was he sees the open. Look at this. Look at the read. The shot goes up. George Hill neglects to get back. What does LeBron do? He sneaks out, uncontested layup. Those are the kind of points in the paint Miami gets, not the conventional way.
Dished it out pretty well, too, huh?
Penetration. He had his choice. The whole team converged on him. You see the entire Indiana team in the paint. He happens to pick Mario Chalmers. It could have been any of the 4 players. Mario, it's your turn. Let me find you. Tee it up.
Yeah, he could have led the league in scoring if he wanted to, but his unselfishness has really come through this season. No doubt about it. So let's talk a little bit about LeBron here and your thoughts on what Indiana could possibly do to stop him here on Saturday night. He's just been untouchable.
Well, I think he came to the realization the other guys are not stepping up to the level that he did, and he said, I got to take it upon myself and do a little bit more. Early in that third quarter, it was LeBron, I'm going to do it, I'm going to score. Once he had the cushion established, then he started involving the other players, particularly Udonis Haslem. If I'm Frank Vogel right now, I'm scared because I don't know what you can do to control LeBron, but what he has to do is get his team a little bit more involved offensively. His backcourt didn't show up today. 79 points. You're not going to beat the Miami Heat with 79 points. They need more offense.
And you're not going to beat the Miami Heat after you beat the Miami Heat, apparently. Take a look at this. Dominant coming off losses. They've won their 3 games following defeats by a margin of 22. An average of 22, blown out their opponents. They're shooting 55% from the field and 44 from beyond the arc in those games. A key moment in this game was when George Hill picked up his 4th foul. It happened in the 3rd quarter. He was completely ineffective all game. Scored only 1 point, but once he left, the Heat turned it up as the Pacers' starting guard simply went flat. And Frank Vogel was left to wonder why that happened.
Yeah, it's on me. I got to make sure those guys are involved in getting better looks. And, you know, they're out of sync, then we're going to struggle. So I got to get them more involved.
When Miami was making that run in the third, well, when LeBron was making his run in the third quarter, what did you see out of you guys offensively? I mean, the flow you guys had in the first half just seemed to disappear.
Well, George Hill was on the bench, you know, and whether he's scoring or not, he sort of helps us get organized. You know, other than that, I really got to look at the tape, to be honest with you. You know, obviously we were out of sync in that quarter, and you know, to pinpoint it, you know, it would be premature without studying the tape.
I think we all came out a little flat. We didn't execute offensively and defensively, and sometimes that sticks around with some people, and then they get down on themselves, and you know, at this point in the game, we need to let it go and just keep playing.
You know, we've done well all year, especially in the postseason and dealing with adversity and overcoming, you know, games where we didn't play as well as we wanted to, and coming out with the energy and the effort to get the job done. So, again, you know, we'll see, you know, when it comes Game 6.
Yeah, I kind of just went back, you know, to my Cleveland days at that point, and just said, you know, let's try to, you know, make more plays, be more of a scoring threat as well, you know, and just try to figure out a way that I can, you know, I don't know, just, you know, see if the guys would just follow me and just lead them the best way I could. And I was just in attack mode in the third quarter, look for my shot, and luckily I was able to make some.
I mean, I'm just getting to my spot. You know, for 10 years I've made my living on the baseline, You know, so that's why I'm most comfortable. And, you know, I'm just back to that spot just because of the way they're guarding, you know, us this series and the way Hibbert is playing defense this series. You know, I'm just getting back to the spot that I've, you know, made my living at, and that's where I've been more comfortable my whole career.
PJ, the NBA Tonight spotlight on the man Coach Spo calls the heart and soul of the Heat.
Udonis Haslem steps up big. Heart and soul of the team because he's the one that's competitive. Roy Hibbert comes at him, he goes by and throws down a dunk. When David West went after the point guard, Mario Chalmers, who's there? Who's got his back? Udonis Haslem right in David West's face.
Flashback to Game 3. He was big in that one. A road win. Miami winning in Indiana. Once again, he came up big clutch in this one as well.
Numbers very similar. 8 for 9 both nights. Game 3 and Game 5. Udonis Haslem. Game 5, he missed his first shot, knocked down his next 8. There's his baseline. The media guide says he's from Miami, Florida. That's not where he lives. He lives on the baseline. You cannot give Udonis Haslem a baseline jumper. He's going to make you pay every time. LeBron James certainly knows that. Bottom of the net when Udonis shoots from the baseline.
5 for 5 in the third. He was on fire. So was LeBron. Haslem shooting a combined 10 for 15 on baseline jumpers this series. You heard him say that's his bread and butter. As you can see, he's attempted only 2 shots that aren't in the paint or on that coveted baseline. Now, as far as both coaches go, they're both preparing for elimination games in different ways. Here they are after it ended on Thursday.
We're trying to commit and play our game, our style, and there's certain specifics to it, but that's not the deal. It's getting to our identity and applying pressure, covering ground, hopefully forcing them into some mistakes, or at least getting them to play faster than they would typically like. That was the more important key to the second half as our guys were flying around.
Miami 90-79 victors in Game 5. Now they head to Indy for Game 6. I simply believe the Miami Heat are going to close it out. LeBron James put them on notice that he's ready to get this series over with. And even though Indiana, John, has a lot of answers, they have no answer for LeBron James. What are your thoughts?
They showed some great bounce-back ability, the Indiana Pacers. I thought after Game 3, when they were demoralized and thrashed up in Indiana, that they wouldn't come back from Game 4, and they did. So I'm going to say that they come back and win this thing. No one's won 2 in a row. I still think they can come back from this. There's correctable mistakes. They've got to just take care of the basketball. Find a way. 18 turnovers again tonight. I thought that was the key in the third quarter that got Miami out and running, got them some easy opportunities, and completely flipped this game. Take care of the basketball. Get a little more out of Lance Stevenson and George Hill. They had 5 points combined tonight at 39 in Game 4. So get something out of that backcourt, continue to use Hibbert, West, in the interior, and I think Indiana can get this thing back to Miami for
But John,
Game 7.
aren't you asking for a lot for them to protect the basketball? Look at George Hill in the third quarter. He had 2 points and 3 personal fouls. Didn't do much when Miami went on that 30-13 run when LeBron James dropped 16 points and Udonis Haslem hit all 5 of his shots in the third quarter. That was obviously the difference in this game. When you look at Roy Hibbert, David West, the way that they struggle, your guards, if you get them the ball, if you feed them the ball, they'll be a lot better. But at the same time, that's a problem they've had all series long.
They're a poor passing team. It is quite amazing to be where they are, the way they pass the basketball. They don't feed the post very well. They don't get Hibbert and West enough opportunity on the interior, but yet here they are. I think they can find a way to do a better job defensively if they don't turn it over. Just silly turnovers, live ball turnovers. Those are different than throwing the ball out of bounds. Throwing live ball turnovers that lets Miami get out and run, that's the difference. You got to be careful with your turnovers. So I'm saying have good turnovers, not bad turnovers.
I get you, and I hear you. I just think that Dwayne Wade is not going to have another bad game like this. I think Ray Allen's going to finally hit a shot. Shane Battier might hit a shot or 2, and LeBron's going to be LeBron. That's my opinion. I'm picking Miami. He's picking Indy. We'll see you in Game 6.
The Birdman has bounced back in a huge way. Just ask Hansbrough.
Birdman goes flying in. That block was more significant because it just reignited the crowd, and he got a little bit of revenge for the bump.
And that wasn't it for the block party. How about Hibbert on Bosch?
Big-time block right there. That's a Dikembe Jr. block. He's trying to go up strong. From the Georgetown young man.
That was huge. Biggest play of the game came from LeBron. He was electric.
James with a deep three. And it continues for LeBron James.
It's been LeBron James, almost a one-man show. LeBron just destroying this Indiana defense.
Now, LeBron's had to pick up the slack here, mostly because Dwayne Wade has not